The Canadian government has launched a guide to combat anti-Semitism, but multiple progressive Jewish organizations are warning it, quote, poses great risks to all Canadians who advocate for international human rights. Here's what's going on. In 2019, the government of Canada formally adopted a definition of anti-Semitism as part of its anti-racism strategy. It decided to adopt this non-legally binding definition, which we'll call the IHRA definition. And in the last week, the Department of Canadian Heritage launched a guide to combat anti-Semitism that basically breaks down this definition and how to respond to anti-Semitism. Now, wanting to define and combat anti-Semitism is a good thing, especially when you look at how prominent voices and social media accounts have been posting abhorrent stuff. But this handbook has a little bit of a problem. As organizations like Independent Jewish Voices have pointed out, this handbook risks painting legitimate criticism of Israel as anti-Semitic and chilling advocacy for Palestinian human rights. Of the 11 illustrative examples included in the definition, 7 name Israel. And the Canadian handbook took that and kind of ran with it, using an example of criticism of Zionism as an example of anti-Semitism. This was despite the handbook itself later saying, rightly, that it's anti-Semitic to hold Jews collectively responsible for the actions of the state of Israel. The actual author of the IHRA definition has been raising concerns about the ways in which it's been misused, telling a New Yorker journalist the following, quote, "None of us anticipated that it would be used as this blunt instrument to suppress pro-Palestinian speech." As writer and activist Elad Neharai, who also runs a marketing agency called Justice Marketing, told me, the real problem with the IHRA definition is how it has been instrumentalized to hurt critics of Israel, especially Palestinians and people of color. See, Elad said, quote, "It's vague enough that it has allowed organizations to insert their agendas into it, effectively allowing them to control speech indirectly when governments use it as a guidebook." He said it's unfortunate because, quote, "the majority of the handbook is effective." Elad told me there are other definitions worth examining, and governments shouldn't just listen to the loudest voices in the Jewish community. If governments care about Jews, they should look to, quote, "a diversity of Jewish perspectives in order to do justice to the breadth of our community," he told me. What do you think of all this?